My job is really, really easy. I just have to come and set the context. All the fun stuff is done by Hannes. 6 months ago or so, about 7 months, we entered into a partnership with the International Labour Organization as the implementing partner of South Africa for the Decent Work in Construction project. So where do we start? The South African construction sector, which is the sector in which you operate in, contributes quite significantly to our GDP and also our employment in South Africa. So the construction sector employs quite a significant amount of people. However, the employers, which are small businesses, are faced with a lot of challenges, and you would be aware of this, particularly when it also comes to employment issues, personal development, taking your staff to training around health and safety, providing personal protective equipment, and all these other related challenges that also includes access to finance. And other issues includes the regulatory knowledge gaps. There are, a lot of regulatory requirements that somehow some businesses may not be aware of that prohibits them from entering certain markets. The participants in the sector, which are small businesses who are creating a lot of these jobs, are struggling. And how do we then put together interventions that can assist them to mitigate these challenges? The response in the room is that Decent Work, it is a chain that starts with the owner of the business that cascades all the way down to the employees. The formal definition, according to the International Labour Organizations, are employment opportunities that provides fair income, security in the workplace, that also provides social protection for families. If people have decent work, they've got freedom of expression, they are getting paid, they're being developed, they've got all the necessities, the workplace is safe to minimize injuries, because we are all aware that the construction industry is liable for quite a lot of injuries. So if you provided those necessities, then effectively we are contributing towards having this productive jobs and developing enterprises. Hannes, you sum it quite nicely in your formula. A happy worker is a productive worker, which effectively contributes to the company, and then profitability then grows over time. The first project goal is to obviously address the shortcomings through targeted training, but also to promote the importance of fair wages, safety, social protection, and workers' rights. Now, there are 4 key pillars. The first pillar focuses on employment creation. So the focus here is ensuring that there are formal contracts. Ensure that there is a contract, because the law is always on the employee side. We're also looking at social protection, which speaks holistically around occupational health and safety compliance, the social insurance scheme, the UIFs and them, and also effectively over time transitioning to providing medical aid as a function, of course, of growth and productivity that would have been achieved in the business by providing decent work interventions. The rights at work, ensuring that you are compliant with the labor law, ensuring that you provide gender equity. They always say the construction industry is a male-dominated industry. So how do we then also start recognizing the integration of women? And most importantly, it's around social dialogue. Worker representation, whether it's through unions or, allowing or giving the workers an opportunities to organize amongst themselves and select a representative to negotiate on their behalf. And also a very clear communication strategies.
Your workers, your employees, whether they are full-time or even the part-time guys, needs to be respected as a human being. It's about content, it's about, pitching up, it's about that culture, it's about being positive. We're going to support you to get certain things in place, and that the 4 pillars of decent work. And it covers a lot, whether it's getting policies in place, simple things as contracts, medical aid or medical plans or funeral cover even. That's that social security. And you say, but listen, it's going to cost me. I'm just asking you, how much do you respect your work, your employee? There's ways and means to get these things in place. So we're going to support you with that.
That boils down to compliance.
Compliance is a result of an attitude. It comes down to a place where I respect every human being. And isn't that the overarching thing of it all? Do you respect? Maybe it's something that you need to think about it. Do you really respect, or are you using your employees? Which is, your business is business. Come on. Right? And you hire and fire. That's easy. That's what people are saying. But that's not really good labor practice, and it's not going to help you in business. So we are constantly saying, even now in decent work, we say, we are supporting you to put things in place to create that awareness, the importance of your employee. The rights at work. It's not your rights. Your employees has got rights because they're human beings and because they are employed. Whether you've got a contract with them or not, they've got rights. And you need to understand that rights. It's very important. Do you, for instance, we're going to look at labor law compliance, overtime. Do you understand overtime? There's grievance process. Guys, I'm just touching on certain things. Do you have a process in place? Or most of you don't, but this is real stuff. People are, who's the person that they speak to? Or are they speaking, to themselves? And you create that distance from the management and the expectation from a project manager and the guys really on site. Gender equality. Sure, it is a challenge. Let's speak about policies. Some of you, and I can, Michael, maybe I must just give you credit. So we had a baseline assessment and awareness was created, and he immediately put some stuff in place, contracts. He said to us, listen, help us with contracts. And my emails were flooded with contracts. Is this policy right? And this is the right attitude because you did not have it in place. Now there's a big push to have it in place. So congratulations, you're moving in the right direction. You didn't even ask us for a contract. You put some stuff together and you're asking us, is there a process in place? Is that in place in business? If it's not, you're going to land up into trouble somewhere along the line, difficulty that you don't need. So we're going to help you to get that process in place and how that would look like. It's not about what you don't have in place. It's about the attitude of getting it in place, because that's what decent work is. It's just how it should be.
If you do not have permanent employees, and we're talking about medical aids, if you have like a project that will only be valid for 6 months.
So you can start off, not necessarily medical aid, but just the basic health and safety conditions and approach, and keeping to that on site. But as long as they are covered by the health and safety process, and it's properly managed on site according to the to what is expected, then it's okay. And you've got a representative there, OHS person that's on site continuously, then it's fine. So it's something that we can discuss. Listen, guys, we are property poets. We come and we sit down with you. You are unique. This is just that we are on the same wavelength around decent work. There's a lot of things that we're going to sit down, but you're going to see what is in place, what is not in place, and what we can support you with.
I just want to find out in terms of skills and development. Like my team, 70% of my team is you.
Part of everything is skills development, and I apologies for not mentioning it earlier. Skills development is saying, listen, I respect you. I'm not just giving you skill because it's going to make our company look good. Yeah, I think that's okay. But I respect you so much so that I will take out, money, and I will invest in you. You invest in somebody, and that, and that the return on investment is decent work, that people will come and say, listen, thank you for this. Yes, they can run away. They do that. They're taking your qualification out, but there's ways and means to cover that as well. And I know decent work is not being nice. Decent work is just good labor practice, but it comes from a point of respect.
Our focus as Property Point is mostly on small businesses and how do they comply with decent work. But effectively, there's also an intervention by the ILO and government and unions and all the related parties around also ensuring that there are components of decent work included in tenders, in RFPs and whatnot. Contractors or even opportunity holders are going to look at how you're implementing decent work in your company. And that is going to be a factor of whether you get the work or not. I just wanted to give you a case study, just high level, right? In 2013, in April in Bangladesh, there was a building called the Rana Plaza. So the garment industry was well known for poor labor conditions and all these other related issues. And lives were lost in that building, specifically because the owner of the building decided to erect the structure or extend without getting the necessary approvals, which speaks about security or safety in the workplace, right, for the employees. Effectively, the building collapsed. Over 1,000 people died. 2,005 people were injured, and it exacerbated the issues in the garment industry until such an extent where they started implementing decent work interventions around, particularly looking at social dialogue, rights, and compensation and incentives around those that were injured and those that lost jobs. So over time, they started seeing some positive results in terms of morale of the staff, the productivity. There was now lack of absenteeism. There was more motivation for people to come to work. And because of the incentive structures that were put in place, this also started enhancing or increasing the reputation of the companies. And the reputation effectively led them to getting more work. And this affected the local communities in terms of improvement in the livelihood. You all remember the collapse in George last year. You think if they implemented decent work interventions there, lives would have been lost. 34 people died. So I think it is important now more than ever, even in our context in South Africa, to start thinking about, what does this mean to our company and the future operation of the industry, but also effectively, how do we then start creating dialogue around the importance of implementing this?
And we're still in the infancy phase. And by that, it means some projects that we get, we can hire up to 30 people on site, up to 3 months. In some projects, it's literally 2 days, 5 people. So it becomes difficult, to create that holistic sort of environment because it's constantly an influx of employees and retention of those. So you get like 5 skilled brick workers and you get them on site, and then after a month, it's done, and then 2 months later, you get another project and you can't locate them anymore.
When it comes to working on site again, you start with the basic is health and safety. That they are aware of what's supporting them. That they feel good. Listen, there's a company, there's this business, and they are part-time workers, but they are looking after you. It is a process where we're going to assist you. So you're using the word overwhelmed, and you start where you are at. And it's a process, but it's an attitude. That's where it starts today. It's an attitude of saying, listen, decent work. I want to get involved in that. I want to do it because it's a right thing to do. It's a human right. That's where you start. And
this program runs in parallel to other business development support services, because we do understand that there is an importance for you to become sustainable, access opportunity finance and whatnot. But in terms of quantifying the actual value, we haven't done that. And that'll be an interesting exercise for us post this, when the assessment is being done, to look at the overall spend per business in terms of implementing this project.
So I've sort of been a victim of being exposed to an indecent workplace. So
how did it make you feel? Well, did you leave because of that?
yeah.
Oh, you see, it is an eye-opener, you're saying. So let's treat those people that are employed with respect. They're human beings.
In my business, we are service provider for Open Surf, right? And they check everything, so we've got to be compliant. Health and safety file, they come and do audits. They'll check the guys' vehicles. They'll check the company's safety file that we're going to have in the office. They'll check the buckies. Each bucky must have a safety file. Everything must be updated every month. So that's in place. I'm managing everything myself.
It's also about what you have in place and what you are creating in this whole process, a culture. Some of us don't understand. You're creating a culture. A good working culture